Hello everyone and welcome. Today we have a brand new ninja video and I'm super excited about this one because I found some new ways to play ninjas, including a bunch of fun new combos. So let's get into it because I can't wait to show you guys. So this is my new way to play ninjas and this deck is phenomenal. It has some very interesting small engines and staples you can utilize, as well as a couple of nice combo pieces you can make good use of. So let's go over everything and explain how it works. First of all, I'd like to mention that this is gonna be an advanced guide. I'm not gonna go over the basics of how to play ninjas. You can check out another video I have for that. I'm also gonna focus on the new stuff, but first of all, for the ninja core, we have playset of Tubari, playset of Mitsu with the one green ninja, the one Baku, playset of Hanzo of course, with one Kageru, one Twilight Ninja Getsuga, and the one Jiu for the monsters. As of the spells and traps, we have the one Iron Digger with Ninjutsu Notebook of Mystery, and also the Duplication and Dancing Leaves one-offs as well. Now I know this is a very unique core, but let me explain. Now the reason why I have one of each Ninjutsu art is because all of them are situational and you don't need them in the opening hand necessarily, and I more so like to prioritize on Hanzo and getting access to it as much as I can, rather than simply having like a random trap card or a spell that I can't even use if I don't have ninjas. Which leads me to the first improvement I made regarding consistency, and we now have in total 10 copies of Hanzo here. I know it sounds crazy. The first card I included is Small World, and I found out that this card is just so good in ninjas because every ninja is a different type and attribute and even a level, so you can very easily mix and match different combinations to get to Hanzo. Let me give you a quick example. Let's say we have Mitsu plus Small World. You can use them going for Green Ninja because it's level 2, and you have a warrior, so you can go into Hanzo, and that's how you bridge into it. Obviously there are more bridges for Small World, but I'm not gonna go over every single one. Now the other thing I included is 7 Takian, which is essentially 3 copies of Hanzo all the time, because you can go for your battling boxer number 105, and because it's a warrior you get access to either Hanzo or Kageru as well. Now even though it does lock you into Exceed monsters, if you have any other things you can do them before that, or let's say you don't have anything else, well, it's better to get Hanzo than just pass turn with nothing, right? So it's always a win-win situation. And the cool thing is, even if you normal summon Hanzo, you can go for duplication and then for more plays, which I'm gonna go over in the combos in a little bit. Another cool thing I included is the Millennium engine, and that is the one I am mostly excited about because this engine has some very nice uses. First of all, it obviously gives you extra bodies to go for like a Photon Lord or to link summon, but there's also a very interesting sequence I'm gonna go over when we get to the combos, and you'll see exactly how much that matters. And the final piece I included is Parallel Exceed, and I think people are absolutely sleeping on this card because keep in mind, any 2 monsters can go for a link play, right? Let's say you have Hanzo plus Mitsu. Normally you would go for Mazen and that's it, but if you have Parallel Exceed, you can summon Dugares using it, and then you can bring back the Hanzo, trigger the effect, get it back again, use another monster, and go for more plays this way. And of course the rest of the deck is gonna be some non-engine. We have Maxi, Ash, Codebuy, and Crossout. I feel like these are the most important ones, and I do play Crossout even though I have only 2 hand traps because I really wanna stop an Ash or a Maxi because that will be very nasty against us. The one issue this deck has is that it doesn't play a lot of hand traps, but I sacrifice some hand traps to play a lot more consistency, and this is ultimately way more important because ninjas do need a lot of consistency. And as of the extra deck, we have the 2 Yogoromaru with 2 Mazen and the 1 Saizu. These are all the cards you need for the ninjas. We also play IP into SP. We have Sprite Elf, which is very important for this deck. We also have Cross Sheep going into a Palooza at times, and we have stuff like Photon Lord for the Millennium engine, the Doom Dragon for the Millennium engine, the Battling Boxer for the 7 Takian, and Dugares whenever we get access to it because it's very good. And finally we have 1 Typhon, which isn't necessary, it's just a card that we're able to use, especially when we don't have any place and we get negated going second. Now let's proceed to the combo guide because I want to go over everything and explain it in detail. So firstly, I'd like to go over the 7 Takian and why this card can be so good even though it does lock you into only Exceed monsters, which is not gonna be much. So we're gonna search the Hanzo here, which is very good. Now a bonus thing here is you can also return a card back to the deck, so if you end up drawing like a Twilight Ninja Getsuga or like a Jiu for example, you can return it to the deck, which is a nice bonus to fix your hand a little bit. In that case, we're just gonna return like a whatever, it doesn't matter. So now afterwards we're gonna be normal summoning the Hanzo, and then that will give us only duplication, which is the best possible target, and the old school ninja players already know that Hanzo plus duplication is still good. So we're gonna pass turn here, and on the following turn we're gonna be able to use the duplication of course, and then we're gonna go for some 3 very specific monsters. We're gonna go for Tubari face down. We need 1 face down monster. We're also gonna go for Tubari face up because we need to use it to fusion summon. And now the third one is flexible. You can go for either Mitsu or Green Ninja. Green Ninja will allow you to flip something face down on the field after you fusion summon. However, the one that I prefer to go for is Mitsu because it has a secondary effect that allows you to flip something face up and negate. This way you get to stop a monster effect before you go for a fusion play. So we're gonna special summon it to the field, and this is kind of all we have access to. I know it's not much, but remember, this is just the 7 Takian and a normal summon. Okay, so with this hand, I'd like to show you guys what Parallel Exceed can do when we have 2 monsters to use. Now, first of all, we're gonna need to get access to the Parallel Exceed here. So we're gonna use first of all Reinforcement to get the Hanzo we need, and then I'm gonna be activating the Small Warlord so we can bridge into the Parallel Exceed. We're gonna go with the Golem, we're gonna choose the Sangen Jin, and that will then allow us to target the Parallel Exceed and get it. So this is kind of a nice way to showcase how you can get to it, but the main idea here is that we need Hanzo plus Mitsu and Exceed, or we can just use Hanzo plus any extender we have, maybe just a random Golem for example. So we're gonna start by normal summoning the Hanzo here. We're gonna get access to a trap card again, or we can even go for Iron Digger. Let's just do it for the sake of having fun. Then we're gonna special summon the Mitsu to the field, and now normally the only thing you can do is just go for Mason, right? That's kind of the normal thing you would do, but since we have the Parallel Exceed, we can go for so much more plays, guys. So we're gonna go Cross Sheep using these two. This is the first play we gotta go through. Now that of course allows us to activate the effect of Parallel Exceed here, and then we can special summon it. This way we get to use it, get another copy of it. And now here things go crazy. We're gonna be able to summon the Dugares, and as you know, Dugares is gonna be able to bring back Hanzo. So we're gonna target the Hanzo, bring it back of course, and now we're gonna be able to use it and get the Surge. And now here again you have different options, right, depending on what you want to do, but I'm just gonna go Baku because that's the best one. It's also an extender, so let's just fire it off here, and we're gonna be able to special summon it and retrieve Mitsu back to the hand. So now you have a couple of monsters to work with, and you have different options, right? If Mitsu is in the graveyard and you choose to do it in a different way, you're gonna go Sprite Elf once again. But if you don't want to do that, there is actually another thing you can do. First of all, we're gonna go for Saizu using two of our monsters here. This will of course allow us to get a ninjutsu art, and we're gonna be setting the duplication, and then when we have Iron Digger, we're able to equip it, and then we're able to bring back a ninja monster from the graveyard again. But make sure to go for Baku because we need it to be a different monster, not a warrior monster, right? So we're gonna summon it, which will be summoned face down, but that's completely okay. And then we can simply go into Amazing using these two, and then with the final two bodies we have, we're gonna be able to link them all. But one thing you can do before that is of course trigger the Cross Sheep's effect, special summoning once more the Hanzo. However, keep in mind the sequence is gonna be ruined and you're not gonna be able to use the effect of it, which is a little bit annoying, but it is what it is. We're just gonna use it for the extra body, and we're gonna go for either a Palooza or like an IP depending on what you want. I just choose to go for a Palooza because it's the most standard and best thing to do, and this will be a Palooza with 3 negates, Mason with the 4th interruption going for Jiu, and then Jiu tributing the duplication. Actually, let me show you guys this. You're gonna be able to go for 4 monsters using the Jiu, which is crazy, but let's just wait until the bot activates a card. So they activate this, we're gonna chain Mason here, and now it will go for a couple of extra interruptions. It's gonna be so cool. So we summon Jiu here, and again we're gonna be able to flip up to 2 cards face down, but now we're gonna also be able to activate duplication, and this is where things go crazy. Let's go for Tobari face up. We need one of them to fusion summon. We're gonna go for Mitsu face up as well, and then we're gonna go for Green Ninja face down so that we can flip it face up and use the Mitsu effect. And then for the final one, we're gonna go for a Baku if we have access to it, or if not, we're just gonna go for anything else. I'm just gonna go for a Tobari. Now the thing is, you can also not go for the Green Ninja. You can go for Kageru if you want, so you can bring back a monster from the graveyard, which is technically also nice. But the reason why I go for Green Ninja is because of the second effect being able to flip something face down, which is gonna give us the extra interruption, right? So depending on how your turn plays out, you might go for different choices, but these are the ones that get you the most amount of interruptions. And now one cool benefit here is that you can fire off the Tobari and go for your Guramaru using the Green Ninja, and this way you can prioritize it rather than just waiting for Mitsu to negate and flip face up then go for it. It really depends on the sequence, but sometimes it's better to go for your Guramaru first, right? And so yeah, this is gonna be a Palooza with 3 negates, Jiu for a 4th interruption, and then Tobari for a fusion into your Guramaru for a 5th interruption, Green Ninja being technically a 6th interruption, and Mitsu going for a flip for a 7th interruption monster negate. And half of that number is of course because you have the Parallel Exceed to summon 2 extra bodies. Okay, so this is the perfect hand to show you what the Millennium Engine can do paired with Small Warlord and a target to get to Hanzo. So we're gonna start by activating the Small Warlord here, and we're gonna lose the Mitsu, but it's fine. Then we're gonna go for Green Ninja, which is the only target, and that will get us access to the Hanzo we need. And so this is now gonna turn basically into a 2-card combo with Sangenjin and Hanzo if you already have the Hanzo, of course. We're gonna activate the Sangenjin here, and we're gonna be setting it, and we're gonna be using the effect of it to of course get the search for the Golem as well. Now one thing to note, if you want to go for that combo and you have an additional monster to use, it will be slightly better to set that monster and not the Hanzo with the Weiju Tempo. But in that case, I'm gonna show you what you can do with only Hanzo. So we're gonna use the Weiju Tempo's effect, and we're gonna be setting the Hanzo here as well as another Sangenjin. And now it's very important to firstly go into Cross Sheep. The reason for that is we're gonna be able to trigger the effect of Cross Sheep, bringing back the Hanzo using the Doom Dragon, and that is the one synergy I absolutely love about this deck. you get to do such a cool thing with literally just the Millennium Engine, right? And this way we get to use Hanzo's special summoning effect, which is very good as well. And now here's where things get a little tricky. Now, since we don't normal summon Hanzo, we do have the normal summon available, but it's worth noting that it's very important to summon Saizu from the extra deck throughout the combos, because we need to get a ninjutsu art since we didn't normal summon him. And if we have another ninja monster in the graveyard, we can go for Kageru to bring it back, or Getsuga to tribute summon the Hanzo and then bring back 2 monsters, right? But since we don't have any of those things, the best target to search is gonna be ultimately the Mitsu. Even though it doesn't commit our normal summon, it's still a good idea to get it. So now we're gonna special summon the Mitsu, of course, to the field, and we have a couple of things we gotta do. First of all, obviously we go for Saizu. Now before that though, I want you to link off into Sprite Elf. Now that's very important because it gives you Mitsu again on the field, so you don't lose any bodies, but also you get to use it on the following turn, bringing back Mitsu again, which has a very interesting use for us. So now using these 2 monsters, we're gonna go into Saizu specifically, and now here, because we don't have any big levels of ninja monsters, we're forced to go for only the Dancing Leaves, which is slightly worse, right? Or if you want to be a little extra spicy, you can also go for the Iron Digger, which can be a nice card as well to work with. We're gonna go for Dancing Leaves though, and now we're gonna be able to link off into SP. Although that's not the greatest board ever, it's still good for what we have, which is not really that much. Now the difference is, if we have an additional normal summon or a play to go for, as I said, you're gonna be able to summon Hanzo and get a lot more plays going, but this is still decent, and I'm gonna show you why. So first of all, I want you to use the effect of Sprite Elf as soon as you can. So once we get back the Mitsu, that will enable the Dancing Leaves, and we can use it to go for a couple of interesting things. For example, a good idea would be to straight up go for Jiu here, and that will basically give you a flip for 2 monsters, or you can go for different targets, but this is the one that gives you the best interruption. So yeah, we bring it to the field, and that will be 1 interruption flipping 2 cards face down, and the other one is gonna be SP banishing a monster, and that's really all of it. Unfortunately, it's not as much, but the combo becomes significantly better if we have an additional monster to set off of the Weiju Tempos' effect. So let's go over that scenario. Okay, now this will be a great hand to show you guys the improved Millennium Engine combo. So we're gonna be using Hanzo plus Millennium Engine and 1 more any monster we have in the hand, right? So that we don't need to set Hanzo and instead normal summon it. So we're gonna start with the Millennium Engine the same exact way, and this is what I like to do because oftentimes someone might use an interruption on it, and then I can go for some ninja plays without being interrupted, which is kind of cool, I guess. So we're gonna go Weiju Tempo again, and now here the difference is we're gonna set something else. Now I'm not gonna go over for anything specific here, although we can slightly improve the combo with that hand. I don't want to go into too many details. So now the difference is we're gonna be normal summoning the Hanzo here, and that allows you to search a ninjutsu art, which is gonna be duplication again, since it's the best one and in my opinion the most convenient one to summon a lot of bodies to work with. We're gonna link off again into Cross Sheep, but this time keep the Sang Engine, very important. So after we do that, we're gonna be able to again summon the Doom Dragon. Also, we do have the Parallel Exceed, but we don't want to use that. So we're gonna go with this, and now we're gonna be able to use Cross Sheep. We can also, by the way, chain the Snake Eye Doom Dragon to kind of protect it if they do have something, but that's oftentimes not gonna be the case. So we're just gonna bring back the Hanzo, and now here we have options what to search. In that particular scenario, Baku is slightly better because we can bring back the Kageru to the hand, right? So this might give us a little bit of a follow-up, but the general answer would be to go for Mitsu, because Mitsu is the most convenient one. Now here we're gonna be using 2 of our monsters to exceed summon into Photon Lord, because that's just very good and it's kind of just free to have. Although you can go for a Palooza as well with the bodies we have, it's also a possibility. I just think that there is a better option in the current scenario. So we're gonna be using again the Cross Sheep and Mitsu to again summon the Sprite Elf, which is such a great card for this deck and I really like it. And now we're gonna bring back the Mitsu again, so we technically go neutral, right? And now we're gonna summon Mazen for the final play, and this will be our field, basically Sprite Elf, which will protect from targeting the Photon Lord and the Mazen, also with the duplication. Now here we gotta be very technical in the opponent's turn, but if done right, we can go crazy. So after we pass turn, the first thing we wanna do is wait until Mazen is activatable. So when they activate something, let's just say they have a monster, right? You can change the effect of Mazen here and summon Jiu, but there's one thing I wanna note, because that's just so much sequencing and there are so many opportunities here. Jiu can be used to flip 2 cards face down the opponent controls, or only 1. If you choose to flip only 1, you want to flip the Jiu yourself because you want to get it face down, so that when you bring back Mitsu with your Sprite Elf, you get to use the effect of it and negate the monster by flipping the Jiu face up. And after it's face up, you can tribute it using the effect of the duplication, and you can get access to a couple of bodies to work with. But there's actually a slightly better way to do it depending on the scenario, right? So I'm gonna show you the advanced version of this combo, but this is kind of the more basic one and kind of the one one you're gonna experience the majority of times. The second one is a little more situational. So let's say they have a monster and I'm gonna summon Duel with Mazen, and now here you can flip one or two monsters they control, but do not flip the Duel face down. It's a better idea to keep it face up, and I'm gonna explain why in a little bit. So we flip something, right? But now they don't have anything. Now afterwards, when we want to do that, of course, we activate the duplication, but we target the Mazen. And there's a very good reason for that, but let's take it one step at a time. First of all, you get to summon up to 3 monsters, which is very good. Now the reason why it's a good idea to do this before summoning with Sprite Tail is because if you summon the Mitsu, you have only 2 zones to work with, which is slightly worse. So for that version, I want you to start with Tubari and summon it in the zone that Sprite Tail is pointing to specifically, so that they cannot target it and negate it with like a Nimperm or something like that. Then afterwards, we want to summon 2 more monsters. So we're gonna go for Green Ninja. Now the reason why Green Ninja is a good idea to summon face down or face up doesn't really matter, but the idea is we go into Yaguramaru and then we get to banish something, and then the Green Ninja allows us to flip something face down, or you can also flip a monster from face down face up, right? And now for the final card here, even though it's gonna be a little weird, I want you to go for Baku face down so that you don't use the effect of it and you keep it face down. Now what that does is it allows you to activate Tubari's effect, and you're gonna fusion summon into Yaguramaru, right, by using the Tubari and also the Green Ninja. So you're gonna summon Yaguramaru basically in any zone you want, but let's just say we summon it in the Sprite Tail zone for a little bit of protection. And now you can go chaining one Yaguramaru, banish something, and then banish a card on the field. And you can also go for chaining 2 Green Ninja, which will allow you to target one monster on the field and change its battle position. Now this can be used in 2 different ways. Let's say the opponent does have something to flip face down, you can use it to flip it face down, right? We can also target our own Baku and flip it face up so we can return something to the hand, which can be also nice. But there's actually a better way you can do it. When we activate Sprite Tail, we get to bring back the Mitsu here on the field, and what that does is it enables the effect of it to negate something. Now the problem is the stupid bot doesn't play any monsters, so I can negate them, but let's just dissect that a little bit. So when we activate Mitsu, you get to flip a monster we have face up, change it to face up, right? So that when you do that, you're gonna be able to activate and negate a monster effect, also change the effect of Baku here, and also target anything we like. Let's just go for like a Hanzo, I guess. But the reason why Jiu is still face up is because it has a nice secondary effect. If a monster on the field is flipped face up while this monster is face up on the field, you can target one card your opponent controls, destroy it. So that is what I wanted to show you guys. If you keep Jiu face up, the problem is the bot doesn't really react very well because they need to actually play the game. So yeah, that's kind of how you play the combo, and I try to be as clear as possible when I explain it, but there's just so much going on. So let's count the interruptions real quick. We have Photon Lord, we also have Mazen summoning Jiu, so that's the second interruption. Then we have the duplication, summoning 3 monsters, one of which is gonna be Tubari, so that we go into Yaguramaru, which is gonna be the 3rd interruption, and then the Green Ninja can be the 4th interruption. Also we have the Mitsu being able to flip the Baku face up for the 5th interruption, negating a monster, and then Jiu is gonna be able to pop something for a 6th interruption, and the Baku is gonna be able to return anything we need to the hand for some follow-up. I'd say that is pretty good for ninjas, even though it's something very situational and very tricky. Well guys, these are the new combos I managed to figure out with this deck, and I know that some of them can be a little situational and they still require a lot of resources, but of course ninjas are not a top tier deck, and this is the best I can do with them. This deck in my opinion has a lot of potential, so if you have any other ideas, let me know in the comments. Also let me know if you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I would appreciate a like, subscribe. Also feel free to check out more content in the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day.